No, I think it's a very fair question, and you've been asking me that since I arrived. You obviously, you and I disagreed on that. I was there a little bit in the mid, 2010 to 2016 area, but when a company is in the city and they are providing $100 million close to it in tax revenue for the state and city every year, and then you invest 50 million on top of what we've already invested. So you're all in, that property down there has delivered over $1 billion in tax revenue to the state of Louisiana, and they've invested $1 billion to keep the property looking good and where it needs to be a national treasure. Now, would Wynn or MGM or some others, potentially want to come here? I would say yes, but I don't think we're in an environment now, Corey, where somebody would come into the city with some of the restrictions and put billions in. I think, you could have had a pretty good open bidding process for that piece of property where we're at right now. But I just don't see any of those major players wanting to come in and put a couple billion in here and knowing what some of the tax restrictions are and some of the rules that still do exist. We found a way to work within the rules and come out on the other end with a good business model. But it's not the easiest place necessarily to drive casino revenue.
Well, they would have to change the way they do business, obviously, if that's the case, that it's something special because of the monopoly.
It's not even an option right now. I mean, legally, that contract is the only land-based approval in the entire state until 2054.
No. Obviously, Caesars would have to concede, but if whatever their taxes are, it feels like, hey guys, we're gonna talking to Dan and other folks, the tax rate for us to be competitive should be X. Caesars was paying Y. They're going to pay half of X for the next 20 years. We're going to give them that incentive for relinquishing the monopoly, and then these other players are going to pay the new fee. Would that work possibly, where there's some benefit going towards Caesars on, a tax break that would be less than the competitors for a generation or so?
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought it was an interesting question, but I'm not there anymore, so I have no reason to hold firm on that stance. I just believe now, formerly being in that role and being now just a resident, knowing what I know about the industry and knowing how, the percentage of gaming versus hospitality and what it costs to build these things now, what it would cost to build something to be competitive, the location, where's it going to go? It's just, I'm a can-do person. I hope we talk about some city stuff, but I just believe in general the city can continue to build hospitality, but also try to diversify the economy a little bit rather than relying on casinos for a larger share of that revenue. That's just my 2 cents. I think it would be a little ugly and not as easy as it might sound.
Dan, over the weekend, social media was talking about the trash contract, and specifically that Troy Henry's bond that he has to pay the company, it's half of what's required in the contract. He also upped the contract after winning it by about $500,000. Ramelli claimed their bid was lower than that. We know the deal about the subcontractor and Troy Henry feuding in December, causing the council to rebid an emergency deal for 1 year. IV Waste won it. People appear to be very happy. The mayor wants to end that at the end of July, have Troy Henry take over August 1st. It would be a 8-year, $73 million deal under the old rules, not the heightened or improved clean we're getting right now in the French Quarter. This French Quarter trash contract, kind of, one side of me like mind-blowing, the other side of me, typical New Orleans politics. Your thoughts, Dan?
Yeah, I always want to side with success and excellence, and I think the city deserves it much more than they're getting right now, much more than we're getting. I think what Sydney's been able to do there, and I don't have a dog in that fight, Sydney or Troy, I just want the city to be safe and clean. and they're keeping it clean. They're exceeding what was asked of them. It smells good. The thing doesn't get talked about as much as there was a rodent problem for a while, and that's terrible, obviously, in the hospitality industry.
Yeah.
And so there are certain ripple effects that also go with removing graffiti and keeping the place clean. And I defer to the French Quarter residents even a little bit more on this, to speak to it, because it is in their living room and their backyard. It sounds to me like it's an issue that has unified the entire French Quarter. And so, I think JP brings up a good point. I think, the public bid law, you brought it up, that, Troy turns around and adds $463,000 to the contract. And to be honest, I think, what they're going to be able to do if they do take over on August 1st or whatever the decision is going to be, my gut tells me that it's going to be subpar and not what we have right now. And if you legally can keep Sydney there, because I don't know all the inner workings of the contract, you got the mayor versus the city council and some other politics involved. But just from a pure performance standpoint, you got to keep it going the way that it is now. And you got to have those expectations now for transportation, for all the infrastructure issues. That has gotten to us to a point where I don't think anybody could have imagined. And I think some people thought it was just until the Super Bowl. But you go down there now, and they're still cleaning those streets and the sidewalks, and it smells good. So that's where I come down on that.
I had Billy Nungesser, Lieutenant Governor, on the program a couple of weeks ago when this story broke of the mayor wanting IV waste done by the end of July. Billy Nungesser was incensed about it. He says business owners, residents of the quarter, as you mentioned, they're all very happy with the service. But besides that, he thought it was ridiculous that the city has a contract with someone that doesn't own a trash company or any trucks, and that he has to sub it out to someone else. That's Billy's opinion. I guess in an ideal world, you don't want that, but that's how I guess politics work, not only in New Orleans, but in a lot of places. It's not ideal. But Troy Henry didn't have his you-know-what together, apparently, right, Dan? I mean, had his sub in Richards, then all of a sudden they're suing each other. I mean, if you're running Caesars and you got them under trash contract, Troy Henry, and then the people, and you find out he's got a sub, and then the sub and him are suing each other, you might be looking for another, trash company to come pick up the dumpsters in the back of Caesars. I just find that mind-blowing that, wins the contract but doesn't have his you-know-what together with his sub. That, to me, that's total justification for the city to go in another direction.
We have to. This is the way that the city should be thinking about, again, all of those services that I mentioned. I mean, that's being run the way that a business should be run. And the city deserves excellence, and it's not being driven from City Hall. So we need to continue to make sure that the residents who rally around this get what they need. And as you mentioned, if it was at the casino, this would have been done already. Now, I don't have to deal with the politics that they're dealing with now. But at the same time, how do you come in with the lowest bid and then turn around and raise it after it's done? That whether that was intentional or whether that just happened, either way, he didn't have his you-know-what together, like you said. I wouldn't know Troy Henry if he was standing in front of me, but I just know that IV Waste has done an incredible job, and until things change, they should have that contract.
No, I think the fair thing would be for Troy Henry to step aside right now, let IV Waste finish through December, and then come this fall, it'll be like August or September. They'll have to rebid that contract up for January of next year after IV Waste 1 year emergency is done. Maybe IV Waste wins it, maybe Ramelli, maybe Troy Henry, Metro, Richards, River Parish Disposal. I don't know, Dan, but that seems like the fair thing. Instead, we seem to have a mayor hell-bent on getting that contract in the hands of Troy Henry Consulting. And it's an 8-year, $73 million deal that isn't up to the higher standards we're seeing right now. I just don't get the rush. Why the hurry?
Yeah, I think the hurry is this is the 8th year of an 8-year term. So I believe that the city council has done a really good job on this issue specifically. They haven't just allowed typical politics to take over, because if they didn't stand up, this would have already been changed.
Yep.
And so I take my hat off to them, JP and Elena in particular, and Freddie even.
Yeah.
I don't know Freddie that well, but that's his area. And when he says he's shocked and disappointed, that just tells you, I think, everything you need to know.
No, I think that's a great point. That's a great point. Dan Reel's with us. It's the real deal. Dan Reel, former Caesars regional president. Got a lot more topics coming your way. Corey Johnson with you till 6 o'clock. Don't move, New Orleans. Coming right back.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Elm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future. At the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
Producing tomorrow's talk radio today, Corey Johnson.
This is tomorrow's newspaper.
Precisely. I already went further ahead into time to see what else happens.
Your View, Louisiana. That's Cox Channel 4 in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lafayette. And live streaming at CoreyTalks.com.
Future. Unbelievable.
It's The Real Deal with Dan Reel joining us on the program, former Caesars regional president, now just a New Orleanian digging the city. Not digging that trash contract, that's for sure. Hey, Dan, you mentioned Helena Moreno. You mentioned J.P. Morrell. I had J.P. on the program, brought up a legitimate point. He's like, a council job is a part-time job. A mayor's job is a full-time job. I'm not running for mayor. This is like a year ago. I want to be with my kids right now. I just can't commit the time to running for mayor. Helena Moreno is running for mayor. Oliver Thomas is running for mayor. I guess former judge Arthur Hunter's in the race. Tyrell Morris, the guy whose trial started, I think, yesterday morning on all his BS shenanigans, is in the race. It's Helena Moreno and Oliver Thomas unless some wild card jumps in. Two questions. Are you expecting some wild card to jump in that's viable? And two, between Helena Moreno and Oliver Thomas, not who do you prefer, but who do you think is the favorite right now? And I think it's a prohibitive favorite, a clear favorite. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, I think it is two candidates. I don't think there's a possibility of others coming in because just the money where it's at already. You know, Helena's got 1.5 million and Oliver has about 200,000. And so that does play. But, you know, I might surprise you a little bit here. I think Helena's going to win, and I think she will do a great job. I think she will be visible and present and care and want to be around the city. I don't agree with all of the politics, but again, if somebody's here that is competent, cares about the city, builds it up, tries to do what's best, and has skin in the game, we're going to win. And I believe that, you know, the younger me might have said anybody that went on a federal bribery charge shouldn't even be in the running. But I'm gonna be honest. I think Oliver did do. He's paid for what he did, and I believe that he genuinely cares about this city. I hear him talk about things and get involved, and he is present and he does care. So either way, for me, it's an improvement, and that's the most important thing. I think we're going to get better as a city. And I just think Helena, with the early move and signing up a lot of the people she needed to get a hold of, in addition to what she's been doing as the head of the city council, I just think that that's our next mayor.
I think Helena Moreno is the prohibitive favorite too. It's not what I wish or hope, or it is what I wish or hope. I'm not saying either way, but I think she's the prohibitive favorite. I don't see how Oliver Thomas is going to get a lot of white vote, to be honest with you. And I think Helena Moreno is going to get a lot of black female vote. And that's the number one voting demographic in the city. That's the key to her victory. And I think she's already got a lot of that vote by default. An improvement, no doubt, Dan. But both, I mean, outside the bubble, most would say Helena Moreno and Oliver Thomas not only are liberal, but kind of hardcore left, almost borderline woke liberal. So an improvement over LaToya Cantrell. I mean, right when you said it, I was thinking like Mike Foster from Edwin Edwards. But Mike Foster was an honest guy and a good guy, but didn't get a whole lot accomplished, you know, and it was a nice change from crooked Edwin Edwards. Anything will be a nice change from LaToya the Destroyer, but there's not a lot of conservative, voices out there in New Orleans politics. And these two aren't really moderate, I would say. I'd say they're a little more hardcore left. Agree or disagree?
Well, I mean, they both, I think, proclaim progressive views. So I again, in life, you deal with what's in front of you and you do the best you can. And what's in front of us is Helena and Oliver. And I don't think even being progressive is, a terrible thing in this city. I think if you focus on infrastructure, public safety, being visible, making it more affordable, do those things, fix, the transportation in the city so people can get around the city who live and work here. You focus on those items, those other progressive issues, whether we want to go green or whatever they may be. I don't get too involved in that, even in my own life. I focus on, I want my girls to grow up in an environment where they have a chance to achieve whatever they want. And so what I want for this city is I want to live here the rest of my life, and I want it to be clean, and I want it to be safe. And if there's some progressive policies that go along with it, I could swallow that.
I remember 30 years ago, a delegation from New Orleans, politicians and business leaders went and visited your hometown, Chicago, and then Mayor Daley. And he said, it doesn't matter what city it is, where it is, what you're good at, what you're weak at, located in the mountains, located on a river, located on the water, located all in the land. It doesn't matter. He said 3 things. Got to focus on these 3 things. 1, your airport's got to be state of the art. 2, your city has to be clean. And 3, you've got to have a good public education system. And Chicago has O'Hare and Midway. Daley was talking about how they put fresh boards on even blighted property and cut the grass and make sure the fencing's up, even on a blighted piece of property. And 3, they were trying to get public education going. So arguably Chicago, I think it's a really clean city, about 2.5 out of 3. Back then, New Orleans was 0 for 3. I'd say we're about 1.5 for 3 now on that day. And we state-of-the-art airport, education has improved, but maybe only halfway, and we're still filthy.
Yeah, listen, education is as important as any other issue because that has a ripple effect.
Yep.
And so, I would be focusing on bringing trades back to the school and, really making sure that the community is supportive and doing all the things to help people, to help people have some hope.
Yep.
Education does that.
Yep. Hey, Dan, I really enjoyed this segment, man. I'd like to keep doing it with you. Let's talk about it. And thank you so much for joining me this afternoon.
Sounds good, Corey. Anytime. And I appreciate the way you care about the city as well.
Yeah, right back at you. The Real Deal with Dan Real, Corey Johnson with you, coming right back.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 5 p.m.
Here at the NOLA Coalition, we love our kids and we love our city. The people of New Orleans are standing together for a better future. By harnessing our collective resources, the NOLA Coalition will create a safer, more prosperous city for all residents. Your support is needed to help reduce violence, invest in our children, and drive generational change. Join now at nolacoalition.info.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District. Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
My Sittu, that's Arabic for grandmother, used to make the best football kibbe. You can experience kibbe just like my grandmother used to make, and so many other Middle Eastern favorites on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on magazine, as unique as you.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters' 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now. Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. Get Audubon Gutters.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Boy,
those caterpillars are crawling everywhere. Hummus beaches, those things are giant. What's that? I don't think I hear you yet. Number 3, Miss B.
I have it up and on. Yeah.
They look like what?
No, they look like little aliens.
No, they do. I flipped one over. They're like nasty on the bottom too. It's like they're bleeding on the bottom.
Yeah, dude.
Now I'll flip right back over and just started crawling away, sort of centipede-like.
Oh man.
No, I saw he was very furry. I was like, I'm gonna go pet him. Don't pet him, kids.
Don't pet him.
Now that, like, if they, I stepped on one. I'm telling you, it's like maybe 10% of them stung the bottom of my foot, and it was like swollen the bottom too, right in between like the ball of my foot and the toes. Yep, it was pretty bad. I'm not kidding. I took off my shoe like 3 times because it felt like sort of like a number 2 pencil or like a wad of paper was jammed in between the ball of the foot and my toes. Just stepping. I like there's got my sock has to be bunched up. There's something in my foot. I know I got stung, but there's something, and it wasn't. It was just the sting was such an awkward feeling on my foot. That lasted about 2 days. But they say, I just put like rubbing alcohol on it, in the beginning, and then blew it off the next day, and it went away because I had like a 10% sting. But if it would have been like the whole thing, you got to get like tape to take the little prongs out. And then you got to put like baking soda, like wet, baking soda, and put that on there.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Well,
Painful.
I just find it courageous that you were walking outside with no shoes on.
No, not courageous. The C word might be dumb, like crappy move or kooky.
Because that's a
no, it was dumb.
yeah.
It was dumb. I posted it. Got bit. Like a dummy went out on the lawn barefoot. No, it's just stupid. But I see those little bad boys crawling across the sidewalk, and they're like, I don't know if they're 2 inches long, but they're more than an inch long, and they're big.
Yeah.
They're bigger than like a number 2 pencil. They're like halfway to cigar size. What are those little cigars people smoke? The little with the little mouthpiece on them. The little those things called.
Goodness.
Damn, I'm going blank.
Black and Mild.
Kind of like a Black and Mild, but I'm thinking of the other name for them, like a. Gosh. Anyway, yeah, it's like a Black and Mild. That's pretty much what it is. They're about that fat, Miss Peaches.
Okay.
Those caterpillars. Should we let everybody know, Miss Peaches, that we've changed the format of this entire station to caterpillar talk?
Caterpillar
Not
talk.
bugs and insects. We were thinking about that, but Miss Peaches and I are like, there's so many different variations of caterpillars and so much information. We're just going to go, caterpillar talk.
Totally.
So thanks for joining us, WCAT Caterpillar Radio, 24/7, 365. Miss Peaches will join us in a little while to talk about when they turn into a butterfly. Yeah. Do those things turn into a butterfly? Those little things crawling? What are they called? Like a moth? What's the name of those? A bull moth or something like that?
Yeah. I don't know if it's butterfly, the one you're thinking.
No, the caterpillar.
Yeah.
Is it a bull moth?
I think it becomes a moth, not a caterpillar.
Yeah. Let's see what this caterpillar is called, Miss Peaches. Is it a bull moth caterpillar? Question mark. No, it's not a bull moth. Hawk moth? That's what they're calling it, a hawk moth? That could be right. Hawk moth caterpillar.
Okay.
Yep, that looks like it, Miss Peaches.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. This is bad radio. Does the hawk moth caterpillar turn into a moth or butterfly? Question mark. A hawk moth caterpillar develops into a hawk moth, not a butterfly. Wow. Hence the name, Miss Peaches?
Hence the name.
So when we see the moths flying around the lights, I guess we'll be out of caterpillar season.
That makes sense.
Yep. And then guess what happens in a month flying around the lights? Formosan termites. They're coming.
Oh,
that swarm starts in about 2 weeks and lasts for about 2 weeks every May. Every May.
Something out of a horror movie.
Miss Peaches, I just got a note from corporate. Damn it, Corey, it's caterpillar radio, not termite radio. Stick to topic. Caterpillar radio, not termite radio, Miss Peaches. Yep. By the way, Caterpillar radio, not termite radio, brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex, home of Lamarck Ford, Lamarck Lincoln. And if you need a commercial truck, van, or SUV, you check out Lamarck Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway. Every day, this program brought to you by the Lamarck Automotive Complex in Kennebra and Lamarck Crescent City Ford on Jefferson Highway in Harahan, bruh. Hey, phone lines are open at 766-9480. 766-9480. A week from this Sunday, 12 days away, Mother's Day. You want to take care of Mom? She wants a day of relaxation at the city's premier day spa, the Woodhouse. 2 locations on the South Shore, 2 locations on the North Shore. They're also in Baton Rouge. I got some trivia for you. Miss Peach is fielding your phone calls at 766-9480. New Orleans area code 504. 766-9480. 766-9480. Miss Peaches does a lot of her shopping at Circle Foods on St. Bernard Avenue at Claiborne's. She does a lot of her shopping there. Why is it Circle Foods? Quote, Circle. Why is it Circle Grocery? on St. Bernard and Clemens? Why is it Circle Grocery? Give me the answer to that, and I've got 50 big bucks for you. Good at the Woodhouse Day Spa. 766-9480. Corey, it was Bill and Juan, the Circle family, they owned it, dude. If you notice, the building's curved in the front in a circular motion. That's why it's Circle. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. 766-9480. Why is it Circle Grocery, Circle Foods? What's the Circle part about? 766-9480. Hey, the tallest hill in New Orleans. Tallest hill in New Orleans. 766-9480. Dial us up. You got the answer to any of those questions? I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. Hey, guys, Mother's Day is a week from Sunday. She wants a day of relaxation from the Woodhouse. Problem solved. Gift problem for Mother's Day solved. All mothers want this. WoodhouseSpas.com. You can print your own gift card, any denomination. I recommend going to one of the 5 locations and get her some of the goodies out of that lobby foyer area. Candles, bath salts, moisturizer, stuff she'll love. And you know the ladies, guys, they care more about the thought than the gift, the opposite of us. What thought? I like the gift. We're men. We're dummies. You know, the ladies are sensitive. They're like, he thought about me with all these extras from the lobby area. WoodhouseSpas.com. Hey, if you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed the Real Deal with Dan Reel, former Caesars regional president. We talked about the French Quarter trash contract. What a joke that was. Why does Caesars have a land-based monopoly? Why one land-based monopoly casino in New Orleans? Why not multiple? Why not open up the market? Why a monopoly? It's capitalism. This is America. It's been a monopoly for 30 years. Enough's enough. Talked about that. Lots of good stuff. The mayor's race. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. 766-9480. This is just silly. House Bill 554. But what's funny is some folks are like, why is it silly? It's important. This is America. We don't need that. And folks, you know, there's reality, what's true, facts. And then there's like what you hope is true or what you want to believe. And I guess this would go in the more what you want to believe than hope. You're not hoping this. But House Bill 554 in Baton Rouge, if you're not a citizen of our country and state, you're not allowed to vote in Louisiana elections. Wow, why don't they pass a law if you're 17 or under, you're not allowed to vote in Louisiana elections? How about if you're not a human being, you're not allowed to vote in Louisiana elections? I mean, seriously, has this happened? How often? How many times? Seriously. And calling up and going, one is too many isn't a good answer. 766-9480, House Bill 554. This is to appease voters that want to believe stuff like this, and it's just a big waste of time, especially in Louisiana. Well, we don't have time for this crap. We need real laws. We need real legislation that helps us move forward. Hey, you want to move forward in your life? Get rid of that lousy dry cleaner. Experience the best. A New Orleans institution since 1940. YoungsDryCleaning.com. Check them out. Make the change. YoungsDryCleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day. By river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots. Total maintenance keeps you cool. TM-AC.com, your cool spots.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Helm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right.
Helm Paint.
Young's Dry Cleaning with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com. Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City. Not an FM disc jockey, not a former politician, Corey Johnson.
You're not the DJ. You're a raconteur. You're a storyteller. You're a griot.
It's true. Wow. Corey Johnson back at you on a Tuesday afternoon. Phone lines are open. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. I've got a couple of $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. Why Circle Grocery, Circle Foods over there on St. Bernard Avenue at Claiborne under the I-10. Why is it called Circle Foods? 766-9480. You got the answer? I got 50 big bucks for you. Maybe I gave the answer out earlier when I was saying Brendan, Jimmy Circle, they started it. I was like, the building's curved, it's circular in shape. Maybe one of those is the answer. Maybe both. Maybe not. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. Tallest hill in New Orleans. Tallest hill in New Orleans, 766-9480. You got the answer? I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. Phone number to participate, 766-9480. 86 degrees, partly cloudy, 70 to 80s all week. Rain, maybe on Friday and Saturday, maybe not, hopefully not. Jazz Fest weekend number 2, cranking up in what, like 36 hours? 11 a.m. Thursday morning, 4 straight days of Jazz Fest. Yeah, you're right. We don't need any rain. 766-9480. Hey, does a restaurant or business that's now charging you a percentage, I guess what they're getting charged for the credit card? Yeah, that's how it works. You own a business. You're like, I'll take Visa and MasterCard. Visa and MasterCard's taking like 2 or 3% of your sale item. For you put $1 on the MasterCard, you're only getting 97 cents or something. MasterCard's getting 3%. It's different for different businesses. Some are as low as like 1.5%. Some are like 3-4%. There's a reason a lot of places don't take American Express. I think they're known to have the highest percentage. It's like 4%. Now, the thought is, hey, I'm the business owner. I'll give up 2, 3, 4% because I'm getting additional business. That's the thought. And that's always been the thought, and that's always been the agreement between the credit card companies and the businesses. And it was never, ever passed on to the consumer. Rarely. You might have an instance where, hey, I'm going to put this car on a credit card. I'm going to put something worth, $20, $30, $50, $80,000 on a credit card. And the retailer might be like, that's fine, but I have to pay 2% on that credit card. So, $80,000, that's going to be like what? $1,600 I got to pay. There you go, Miss Peaches. I got to pay like $1,600. So you're going to have to pay more, if it's something astronomical. But I don't know. I go to some places to eat and they'll say cash or credit card. I know exactly why they're asking. And then I look and they have a sign on the counter, sign behind the register. You pay in cash, you just pay the regular amount. If you use a credit card, you're paying the percentage that we have to pay the credit card company. Do you A, avoid those businesses or restaurants? B, pay in cash? Or C, just use the credit card and pay the extra percentage? I just use the credit card and pay the extra percentage. I never, ever go to those businesses and say, damn, I should have brought cash. I went into one today and bought a po' boy, and there was like a 3 or 4% charge. And I had like in my car, in the glove box, in the little middle console of my car, I had like $20. I'd stuck $20 in there. Could have gone back to my car and saved the 4% on like $11 or $12, which I guess would have been like 50 cents, something like that. But then I would have paid with cash and not use a card and all that. I didn't want to walk back to the car. So I don't know. I guess I don't really care. I'm not going to go pay cash. I usually use a credit card for everything so I can keep track of stuff. I like that. What was your boy? That movie with oh boy, the child. I say the child actor. The guy's like 50 now. Just been acting his entire life. Damn, your boy from Gilbert Grape originally, and he's the biggest actor in the world. Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio. Jeez and Pete's, Miss Peaches. Grab that fish cleaning glove over there, Miss Peaches, and slap me in the face. Sheesh. Can't even remember the damn guy's name. Isn't that pathetic? Anyway, 766-9480 is the phone number. 766-9480. No, I don't really pay in cash. I use credit cards so I can keep up. And I think DiCaprio played no, Wolf of Wall Street was incredible. I still like that movie. Just so ridiculous, insane. I land on it, watch like 15 minutes. No, I'm trying to think of the guy's name. Catch me if you can, but I'm trying to think of the guy's name in real life. Abagnale. Abagnale was his name. And he was the guy who, had forged the checks and do all. That's what Catch Me If You Can was all about. He was an airline pilot, a Louisiana lawyer, passed the bar in Louisiana as a lawyer, never went to law school, practiced medicine, not being a doctor. He didn't really do anything, just oversaw a crew, and he always told them what to do in Atlanta. All kind of crazy stuff. Airline pilot. As an as an adult. He did that into his 20s. But now he's like 70 and he's a consultant. He makes millions of dollars a year, like on check forgery, all kind of keeping the companies from getting, tricked by the Abagnale types from the, today. He's like, and I think it makes pretty good sense. He's like, don't spend cash on stuff, and don't use, like your ATM card, your bank card, because then these folks have access to your PIN and your bank money. He's like, have a credit card that doesn't have any kind of fee and has a low interest rate, but the interest rate's irrelevant because put everything on your credit card and then zero it out at the end of the month. And he's like, basically, you're using someone else's cash for 30 days, not your own. And then you just pay using your own at the end of the month. So you're floating this money for 30 days, interest-free, essentially, for you. So I was like, I like that Abagnale thought. I don't use my ATM card, my bank card, except to pull money out of the ATM. That's it exclusively. I never use it where I have to put in my PIN or even use it for credit somewhere. And then I have a few credit cards and I just use those and keeps track of everything. And then I just pay them off at the end of the month if I can. That's the ideal way. And then I like the Abagnale way. I'm using someone else's money for 30 days. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, this is where Louisiana gets silly. House Bill 554. If you're not a citizen of the United States or Louisiana, you're not allowed to vote in Louisiana elections. This just yells like, we have a problem with illegal aliens in Louisiana, A. B, we have a problem with illegal aliens in Louisiana that are voting in our elections. Okay, A, we don't have a problem with illegal aliens in Louisiana. There's like 40, 50, 60,000. They work at seafood processing plants on farms. They're doing work we don't want to do. Like in the rest of the country, we have like 50, 60,000 tops. So we don't have an illegal alien problem. If you're an illegal alien, okay, do you think you're going to register to vote? You're concerned about voting? Seriously. And then do you think there are people, and in this case, it would be Democrats exclusively taking advantage, not Republicans, paying these people to get the one vote, the one single vote. We're going to pay you money. I mean, to get some illegal to register to vote, to put his name on something like that, where he's documented to vote, where the government has their information, you're going to have to pay him a lot of money. So the practicality part of this is non-existent. I mean, I'd love to know, has this happened in Louisiana? Has an illegal ever voted? And how often has it happened? Literally, how many times has it happened? I don't know about you, but conservatives sort of salivating over this, just like the loony left salivating over a prisoner in America that wants to transition over. Since they're in jail, the government should pay for their sex change operation. It's like, wow, is that really a Democrat liberal point that you're trying to push? One of your ideological points to win an election? Like, how many prisoners are there in America that wish to transition over? A. B. How many prisoners are there in America that wish to transition over and have a sex change operation? And C, how many prisoners in America want to transition over, have a sex change operation, and are demanding that the state or country pay for it? No, that's why liberals and Democrats lose elections. They focus in on this kind of crap. Republicans, it seems like it's universally embraced. Yeah, we got a problem in Louisiana with illegals. We got a problem with illegals voting in Louisiana. We do? Really? Give me an instance. Give me one instance of that. Corey Johnson with you on a Tuesday. Audubon gutters. Get it and forget it. Get the Leaf Guard system and forget it. Never have to pay someone to get up on a ladder and clean your gutters again. If you need gutters for your home or business, audubongutters.com. audubongutters.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
There's a Middle Eastern restaurant that's less than 5 minutes from where Causeway and River Road meet, Lebanon's Cafe. Convenient to Old Metairie and Old Jefferson. Carrollton at Jeanette on the streetcar line, Lebanon's Cafe.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Does Helm Paint have the best paint on the planet? Helm, yeah. We only sell Benjamin Moore, the world's finest paint. Because paint ain't paint. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com. Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. You know, it's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex, there's something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We do in all makes and models. It doesn't have to have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
As New Orleans as coffee in the morning and as New Orleans as coffee in the morning and raw oysters for lunch. It's Corey Johnson on the Neutral Ground.
Yeah, you're right, Crescent City. Corey Johnson back at you on a Tuesday afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us. Boy, I enjoyed that 4 o'clock hour. I think we're going to do it every week. The Real Deal with Dan Reel, former Caesars regional president. Now, life's pretty simple. I have an idea of who I am. You have an idea of who I am. And then there's reality of who I am. I think I'm pretty middle of the road. I think I'm kind of a moderate. I think I like some liberal things. I think I like some conservative things. I know I've been a registered independent, other party since I was 18 years old when I could register to vote. Just never felt the Democrats or Republicans represented me. So I'm kind of middle of the road. I would say Dan is moderate, but leans a little more right than I do. So the real deal with Dan Real next Tuesday or the week after, I'm sure we're going to, disagree on a lot of stuff. But probably not like Hillier and Hennigan. I mean, Quinn Hillier embraces his conservatism. He is a lifelong Republican. He's like cut out of the Jack Kemp, Ronald Reagan, that mode, George Will. And Ellis Hennigan is a hardcore liberal. He's a lifelong Democrat and embraces the liberal ideal. So those guys, I'm not going to say they're extreme. They're not. They're just, they're very set. I would say neither one is moderate. I would say if there's the middle of the Democratic Party, Ellis is a little left of it. And if there's a middle of the Conservative Party, Quinn's a little right of that. I think I'm pretty much in the middle of both. And I think Dan would be left of the middle of the Republican Party, like a moderate Republican, like the staunch, hardcore, wacky right-winger Evangelica would probably think Dan Real is a rhino. But those folks think Liz Cheney's a rhino, which is absolutely insane. You can think whatever you want, that the Mississippi River is the Amazon, but it's not. And Liz Cheney's not a rhino. Liz Cheney is like Quinn Hillier, a fundamental conservative, just doesn't like Donald Trump. Just like Quinn Hillier, he doesn't like Donald Trump. If you don't like Donald Trump, that doesn't mean you're not a conservative Republican. That doesn't mean you're a rhino, and it doesn't mean you're selling out the Republican or conservative party. I think real folks that know politics, Republican or Democrat, that aren't skewed, Trump is a populist. If he felt he could have won with the Democrats, he'd be a Democrat. He's a registered Democrat more in his life than a registered Republican. So he's a populist. But I think the hardcore, like Ronald Reagan, Quinn Hillier type, George Will, Jack Kemp, they don't look at Donald Trump as a true conservative. They think of him as sort of a populist that's just, embracing certain conservative ideals. Hey, Lebanon's Cafe is open right now. Right now. As a matter of fact, 7 days a week, 11 a.m. till 9:30 at night. I like the 9:30 at night part. Go rolling in there at 8:45, 9 at night, and get lamb chops or shish kebab. And the shish kebab, Gulf shrimp, local Gulf shrimp. I love Lebanon's. You walk right in, right in the glass, in the front door. Gulf shrimp served here. Fresh Gulf shrimp. Yeah, they're not bringing in the imports, and they're telling you where the seafood comes from. I like that. That's the law, by the way. All restaurants in Louisiana are supposed to tell you where that seafood comes from. Hell, a lot of them say they're serving trout, and it's tilapia from South America, some farm-raised lame fish that no one wants to eat. No, Gulf shrimp, beef, chicken, lamb, shish kebab, Lebanon's Cafe. So yummy, healthy for you. Part of that Mediterranean diet, priced right, big portions, fresh, authentic. I would know. My grandmother, my Sittu, my mom's side of the family, 100% Syrian. I know this Lebanese food, Lebanon's Cafe, 766-9480. Yeah, and it's the real stuff. Look, if you go to a place that claims to be a Middle Eastern place and they don't serve like kibbe or lamb, there's like no kibbe on the menu and there's no lamb on the menu, there's some fusion place, okay? And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. There's all kind of great restaurants. I mean, chicken and waffles, whoever would have thought of that? So it's a fusion. They're taking some things they like about Middle Eastern food and some things they like about others and kind of fusing them together. Like I've often said, my grandmother, my Situ, made fantastic hummus. My grandmother, my Situ, made fantastic fried chicken. Incredible fried chicken. Just never together. It was never hummus with fried chicken on it. Never, ever. That's fusion. That's something new. That's the last 10, 20 years. It's trendy. It might stick. But it's not the real deal. It's not the real deal. Hey, does a restaurant or business that has the sign up by the register, you're paying cash, you pay the regular amount, you use a credit card, we're going to charge you the percentage that the credit card company charges us. A buddy of mine just texted me. I paid $94,000 in credit card charges last year. Can't charge my customers. They'll go to the competition that, like me, doesn't charge the credit card percentage. So different businesses, different strokes, different folks. But I do go into some places, got a po' boy today. Use my credit card. I think I had to pay an extra 3 or 4% for that po' boy. Compared if I would have paid in cash. They're pushing the credit card fee onto the consumer. I get it. I'm not freaked out about that. I don't look down on people that are doing that. I'm not going to go to that business, or I'm going to pay cash when I go. What do you think? Avoid the business? You pay cash? Use the credit card if that's the case? 766-9480. Hey, speaking of that number, 766-9480, how you participate in the program, how you dial us up. I got a couple of $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates to give away. 50 big bucks. The Woodhouse. It's a good jump start, especially with Mother's Day a week from Sunday, guys. Why is it Circle Grocery on Claiborne and St. Bernard? Why is it Circle Grocery? Miss Peaches, if you're in that neighborhood, you better circle and go in the other direction is not the right answer. That's not it. Sorry. St. Bernard Avenue at Claiborne's. Could it be Brenda and James Circle? They founded the grocery in 1922. Could it be its circular shape in the front? Kind of bends around the corner. Why is it Circle Grocery? Give me the answer to that. And I've got 50 big bucks for you. Good at the Woodhouse. 766-9480. I know the answer. 766-9480. Tallest hill in New Orleans. Tallest hill in New Orleans. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. You got the answer? I got 50 big bucks for you. Good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. Corey Johnson with you on the radio, on television, on YouTube. Yeah, the Neutral Ground with Corey Johnson. Click to subscribe to our YouTube channel. It doesn't cost anything. Every day we do it on radio, television, on YouTube. From the Buddy Deliberto Total Maintenance Studios. Yeah, Total Maintenance. Your honest air conditioning experts that come immediately. Honest, incapable of ripping you off. AC experts, they diagnose it right the first time, and they come immediately because they know you're stressed out, you're inconvenienced, your AC's not working right, or worse, not working at all. In New Orleans, in Baton Rouge, if you need air conditioning help, think Total Maintenance. TM-AC.com. If you need AC help in New Orleans or Baton Rouge, think Total Maintenance. TM-AC.com. Yeah, you right. A Tuesday afternoon edition of the program. Right now, the meteorologist types, those weather forecasters, they've got rain scheduled for Friday and Saturday in New Orleans. About a 50% chance on Friday, like a 70% chance on Saturday, but could be overnight, could be morning, could be evening, who knows? Could be not at all. Last weekend, no rain fell on Jazz Fest Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. My neighborhood, the Carrollton neighborhood, we got some rain. So, yeah, hopefully it rains in my neighborhood and not in Gentilly at Jazz Fest this weekend. No, it doesn't matter if I'm there or not. I want people to be able to enjoy Jazz Fest, have a good time, and not have to worry about rain or vendors not selling their stuff, a band getting canceled because their time slot was rained out. That's awful. So hopefully the Friday, Saturday rain thing is just, an incorrect forecast. Thursday looks good. Sunday looks good. More like 70s to mid 80s too. But keep your fingers crossed. We don't need rain at Jazz Fest. We don't. Now it's interesting. The Zurich Classic on Sunday had a rain delay. Gentilly, no rain on Sunday. They just kept cruising. Different parts of the city. You know how that works. Now, we've all seen like the, rain coming down the street, the wall of rain. I'm telling you, Miss Peaches, about a year ago, it freaked me out. I came outside my house. My street was dry as can be. I get halfway down the block and there are puddles in the street. I'm like, do you tell me the line of demarcation was like literally right here? I mean, normally drizzling a little bit, then the rain, then harder. And then this was like, it must have been a wall. There must have been a wind blowing. I'm not kidding you, Miss Peaches. It was like, their lawn's dry. The next house is soaking wet. It was so weird. Normally, it's just the wall of rain. Coming right back. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Scott Craig of Katie's Restaurant.
All of my ingredients are fresh. Nothing comes out of a can here. Nothing. All of our seafood is Louisiana. All of our vegetables are Louisiana vegetables. It's a neighborhood restaurant.
Katie's in Mid-City.
Some people think paint is paint. Well, it ain't. Paint ain't paint. At Elm Paint, we only sell Benjamin Moore because it's the best paint on the planet. In the end, you'll save time, effort, and money because Benjamin Moore paints cover beautifully in less coats. So the next time you pick up a brush, remember, big box, big mistake. Because paint ain't paint. To get the best, you gotta go to Helm. Let us steer you right. Helm Paint.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Tired of cleaning your gutters? Improve the value and look of your home with Leaf Guard gutters. And you'll never have to clean your gutters again, ever. I guarantee it. Let Audubon Gutters install Leaf Guard gutters today. You'll improve the look and value of your home. And right now is the perfect time during Audubon Gutters 99-cent installation sale. Call 469-6494 now.
Get out of that gutter and get on the phone. Get Audubon Gutters.
Have you been to the new Tracy's on Magazine? There's no better sports bar restaurant in the entire city. Tracy's is inside of a 100-year-old building with literally dozens and dozens of flat-screen TVs, including a 120-inch monster. Tracy's has everything you're looking for in a sports bar, including arguably the best roast beef po' boy in town. When it's time to check out your favorite teams, make it Tracy's on Magazine at Pleasant, in between Washington and Louisiana. Legendary Tracy's in the Garden District.
Total Maintenance TM-JC.com, local spots. TM-JC.com, local spots.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes on Magazine, as unique as you.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. Trey Yen in Mandeville, a New Orleans tradition for over 40 years, serving the finest Louisiana-inspired Chinese cuisine. Open Tuesday through Sunday. Trey Yen.
Yeah, you right. I spared Miss Peaches a ridiculous story. All the details I left out because they were unnecessary. A buddy of mine, it's actually my brother's friend. I mean, his nickname's basically like Weasel, so it's sort of like, it kind of just like tells you, like, it says it all. Hey, Weasel. All right. That's not really his nickname. I don't want to give his nickname out, but that's pretty much it. It's kind of like that. Wow. Hey, still a couple of minutes to jump in the ball game. Still a couple of minutes to pick up a $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificate. I'd get on the horn and dial in because a week from this Sunday is Mother's Day. And she wants a day of relaxation from the Woodhouse. That's a no-brainer. 766-9480 is how you dial us up. I got 2 questions. Pick one of the questions. That means I got 2 $50 Woodhouse Day Spa gift certificates. Pick your poison. You got the answer to one of these questions. I got 50 big bucks for you, good at one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. Why is it Circle Foods? Circle Grocery. Why the, quote, circle on that grocery store on St. Bernard Avenue at Claiborne? And no, it's not. Boy, you're in that neighborhood, circle the troops. That's not right. 766-9480. Tallest hill in New Orleans. Tallest hill in very flat New Orleans. 766-9480 is the phone number. Miss Peach is standing by, ready to field your phone calls at 766-9480. House Bill 554 makes no sense to me. But conservatives, hardcore right, evangelical types eat this stuff up. This is like the conservative answer to like the liberals with like, we should allow prisoners in jail that want to transition over to have a sex change operation and the government pays for it since they're in jail. I mean, is there an example of that? And that's like a real topic with liberals, with the woke. It's insane. You wonder why you lose elections? That kind of insanity. Well, this is right up that alley, but on a conservative side. House Bill 554 in Louisiana, and the conservatives embrace it like the loony left embraces the transgender operation in jail crap. If you're not a citizen of the United States or Louisiana, you're not allowed to vote in Louisiana elections. Really? You don't think that law already exists? You really think we need House Bill 554? You right-wingers, you hardcore right, less regulation, less laws, especially when laws are already on the books. Just enforce the existing law, right? If you're not a citizen of our country and state, you're not allowed to vote in Louisiana elections. First off, has this happened? Has an illegal voted in a Louisiana election? If so, how often has this happened? Also, like, how many times? Like, how many people per election? And lastly, did it come close to swaying any kind of election? I mean, this is exactly like prisoners that want to transition over. The state or Fed should pay for their surgery, for their sex change operation. It's like, give me one example of that in the United States where that's even been, talked about. Name that prisoner. Name the illegal that's voting in Louisiana. But just like the loony left, the hyper woke, you got to be able to let someone in prison that wants to transition over. We should pay for their sex operation, sex change operation. It's like, really? And if you're not a citizen of the United States or Louisiana, you're not allowed to vote in Louisiana elections. Yeah, I think we know that already. No, these kind of things, the politicians know it's worthless. It doesn't do anything. But they also know their extreme base eats it up. The hyper woke, the loony left that want like Lincoln's, name off of public buildings because Lincoln's dad, owned slaves in Kentucky or something. Yeah, that Lincoln, the number one mover of abolishing slavery in the world, probably the most significant single individual on planet Earth, maybe, that Abraham Lincoln. No, when you want his name off of buildings, it's crazy. You want sex change operations for prisoners in jail and the state to pay for it? It's crazy. Equally as crazy, if you're not a citizen of the country or the state, you're not allowed to vote in Louisiana elections. That's being reposted by conservative legislators on Twitter right now. Conservative politicians are reposting that like, we're accomplishing something in Louisiana, damn it, because we have a major problem with illegals, which we don't at all. There's like 50 or 60,000 in this state. They're not doing anything but helping us. Processing seafood, picking fruits and vegetables on farms, working in dairy farms, meat processing plants, things like that in Louisiana. And there's like 50 or 60,000, not taking away anyone's jobs, doing jobs no one wants in Louisiana, only helping us, not hurting us, and not voting. And they're not voting. They're not voting. No, it's just so silly. Crazy stuff. Great news. Some great news. Let's end the show with some great news. It looks like the Mississippi River has crested, which is earlier than expected, and it's crested lower than expected. So the Army Corps is saying they're not going to have to open the Bonnie Carey spillway at all. So that's great. All that nitrogen-rich fresh water won't inundate brackish Lake Pontchartrain. All you're doing there is you're not building land. You're just easing the flow of the river south of there to take stress off the levees to protect New Orleans. That's it. But doing it south of the city, like Mardi Gras Pass, Neptune Pass, you build land. You build land. So, yeah, opening the Bonnie Carey spillway, no bueno for us. But opening up levees south of the city, muy bueno, in my opinion. And Blue Boy's opinion, he agrees with me. But he's also saying, enough of that. I want some kibble. I want to walk. I want to be petted. Let's go. See you tomorrow at 4 in New Orleans.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
It's 6 p.m.